Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. I'm Hammer, and I'm joined by my two favorite Wednesday hosts ever in the whole world, Jen T. Maxey.
Hello.
And Terry DeMontis.
Hello.
This is going to be an experiment.
Yes.
Everything's worked so far, so let me, where's some wood at? Better get it. But knocked on some wood, we should be safe now.
Yeah.
How you doing, Terry?
Pretty good. How are you?
I am well. Jen?
I'm alright.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're not convincing me.
Well, you gotta understand that, like, I shared our stream, which is the good thing.
Yeah.
But I did that after I knowingly pissed off a couple people because I've been, like, I don't go on Twitter very often because I'm aware of the fact that I will get pissed off at somebody and open my mouth. And then, you know, I'm doing it with typing, so it's clear that I did it.
What did you do, Ray?
Nothing that bad. I've just been okay. Listen, I'm on board with not necessarily getting involved with foreign wars, but I am
Okay.
calling out. I am calling out the hypocrisy for this whole anti-Semitism shit. Like I said, 8 years of being gaslit because I I prefer to vote the conservatives. Like, I think they understand my province a little bit better. But because I do that, apparently I'm a white supremacist Nazi. Brr, 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 brr. So seeing all this shit come out, I'm like, motherfuckers. So that's all it is. I'm just calling out the hypocrisy. I also don't like that kind of thing. Like, you know, people are just making up shit left, right, and center. And I'm just like, you're all a bunch of assholes.
I try to remove myself from the whole war stuff. I don't talk about Ukraine anymore. I don't talk about Israel. I'm not going to deal with it.
I still kind of have to, because up here there's still, you can still tell that they're embezzling money to Ukraine somehow. And somehow, some way, they really want me to be pro-Palestine, and I'm kind of pro not being on anyone's side at the moment, because I think there's a lot of things fucked up about the whole thing. I stand by that. But on the other hand, the stuff in our country where you're seeing people being actively anti-Semitic, that's not called a debate. A debate is two people talking to each other. Maybe it gets heated and they scream a little bit. But actively attacking people and limiting their ability to go in and out of places and graffiti, and there's been a few acts of violence. I'm like, that's not a debate. What the fuck are you talking about? We used to put people in jail for that crap.
Yeah. Well, before we get started, why don't we go through and say hello to everybody in chat? Jen, if you want to take care of Rumble.
A Rumble? Or yeah, okay.
Change things up.
Yeah, change things up. Okay. Well, the first person is One Town Hammer, so hello, Hammer. Hello, Cannibalistic Wizard. Hello, Terry. Hello, Breyer, Bar-Eyes, Hestic, which I'm never going to say that right, but I'll try.
That's Costin.
Yeah, Costin. Gonna try. Hi, Jack. Let's go down. I think that was it.
Okay. Terry, you want to do YouTube?
Okay, so we have Tier Alexander, the Gentleman Lich, Kivadan.
Hi, Kivadan.
We don't care about that.
Cynic's here.
Mr. Adam, Clippers United, and some Hammer fellow has.
Oh, I hate that guy.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. I'm sure we'll have people rolling as the night goes because we're in a different place tonight. For people who don't know, we got a strike on the Minions of the Zoo channel, and we won't be back live on that channel until Friday. So we're here tonight. You don't have to just subscribe to my channel or anything like that. We'll never be back here again as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So this is just a one-night deal. Something special.
Oh, you should have put that in the advertising for one night only.
Hi, Mr. Adam.
I should also have added, you'll never be back on this channel again. That'll be a good way to sell the show. You'll never be back here again. Yeah, so that's the deal. Friday we'll be back on our normal schedule, so that's where we are. Harry's show is available on Rumble too. He was able to upload it. He didn't go live on Rumble, but he was able to upload the show. So if you missed the Saturday show, it's available on Rumble as an uploaded video. So that's the deal. So I guess we could probably get to the topics.
Right.
At least to go over them so everybody knows what the hell I was talking about. Because
Yes.
I was particularly obtuse this time.
Yeah, I have to say, I wouldn't.
It's like, how vague is vague?
What the hell is he talking about? Recall? What the? All right, so there's 3. There's actually 7, but I only posted 3 of them. Recall is actually a Tesla issue. Whenever Tesla wants to update how their cars work, they just push out a software update over the internet to the car. And if there's a problem or some kind of update they want to do, something to enhance the features on the car, you don't have to actually grab a USB drive and plug it in or anything stupid like that. They just do it for you. And it's a common thing for them to do, regularly push out updates. However, the last update actually changes the way that their auto steer function works on the car. The mainstream media got a hold of it, and they decided that that's not just an update like all the other updates that have ever been done in this car. Now it's called a recall.
Yes, because that sounds scary.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. Tesla doing something, let's see if we can demonize it.
Of course.
So, yeah, all the other updates that have been done to add or subtract or play with or do anything with the software have been ignored. But now that he says, well, if you're going to use advertising to do damage to my company, well, then fuck you. Well, they didn't like that.
No,
So
they didn't.
So now, if he does anything, they're going to be on his ass even more than they have been. So personally, I think a recall is driving your car down to the dealership, them doing something physical with it, and then them giving it back to you and not charging you. That's a recall. But just updating the software.
Well, to my mind, even that's not a recall. To me, a recall is the product is unsafe, return it, and we'll give you your money back, because it is putting us at a liability risk to have this product out in the public. We are insisting everyone return it because that it's cheaper to recall all the products than to go through all those lawsuits of like what could happen if we didn't.
I think America makes a distinction between return and recall. A recall means bring the car in for us. We'll make a hardware change that will solve the problem. Then you can have the car back.
Okay.
Yeah, I would still consider that to be a form of return because you're getting it back. But yeah, the recall is basically what Terry said. Usually it's food, which is understandable. You guys have that too.
Yeah.
You know, food is usually the obvious one.
Or something that has a manufacturing defect that makes it flammable or explosive. They would like recall, we know we sold you a Nintendo, but there's a manufacturing defect. If you turn it on, it explodes. Please, if you haven't already blown yourself up, return that Nintendo.
Yeah, blowing up in your car, not a good thing. It's not a feature.
No.
Also, all of them really don't have a leg to stand on. Like, in all honesty, you listen to a couple of mechanics, they all have shit that's fucked up with them. Like, they like cars, so they fix cars. But, there's nobody that doesn't have, issues with their vehicles.
Yeah.
And the new ones have, they all have different issues because they're more technical. I miss the shows that, back when the History Channel was all about the fixer-upper kind of thing, and they would just try to find old cars to fix them up, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. They prefer the old ones because they're more interesting to work with. But the new ones, they're all technical. You get some dust in one, and they're a little weird. I agree. They're doing this to be nasty to him, but I don't think they really have a leg to stand on because they have a history too. It's petty. Like, why be petty?
It is. Well, it's not even a dramatic change. It's not like there's something in the car that makes it, like Terry said, blow up. It's simply that auto drive allows you to drive the car. All you have to, or basically lets the car drive itself. It uses sensors and radar and all that kind of stuff. LiDAR, actually. to determine where the car is, what's in front of it, what's behind it, all that kind of stuff, makes all those calculations much faster than a human could. You have to have physical contact with the steering wheel. There are sensors in the steering wheel looking to make sure that you're in contact with it. And if you are the old way was, as long as you were in contact, you were good. But now the update says that every certain amount of seconds of time, the steering wheel will vibrate. If you don't move your finger, it's going to assume that you fell asleep and pull the car off.
Oh, okay.
So I have seen videos of people who have their finger on the wheel and are sound asleep.
That seems problematic. That doesn't seem safe.
You would think so. Personally, I'm not entirely convinced that that's really a problem, because the car is still going to do everything it would do if you were awake. So if somebody cuts you off, the car is still going to react much faster than you could if you were awake.
Yeah, but I think the idea is that if you're awake and the auto drive does something wrong, you can correct it. Like if for whatever reason it turns and it's heading towards a tree, if you're asleep, you're going to crash. If you're awake, you're going to say, oh, shit, and steer back onto the road.
We have to understand that if you're in a regular car and you fall asleep, you're still going to hit the tree.
Yeah.
Auto drive only gives you the option of being saved. It doesn't cause tree encounters.
I'm saying that I can understand why they want to make sure that you're awake, for just as an added backup in case there's a flaw with the auto drive system, and it turns you off the road towards water, and you're like, oh no, I don't want to go swimming in my car.
I could see that being a car of the future if they would stop fucking with people. But for people who do have like chronic sleep or even people with seizures, because I've seen quite a number of videos of that lately, people just having an episode when they're in the middle of driving and people actually saving them, stopping the vehicle. I bet you with enough time, and I wouldn't want something too invasive, but with enough time, they could install a version of a car with a heart monitor where it's like, no, you need to pull over. Where it could take over and just pull you over somewhere safer. Yeah, I could see them doing that.
I do think that is the problem. A lot of the convenience comes at the cost of privacy.
It does.
And so you have to draw that line for yourself. How much privacy are you willing to give up for convenience? Everyone's going to have their own standard, and the companies basically have to find that limit because that's where they'll make the most money.
Kiradam says, just walk.
That is very cost effective.
Cost effective and probably the right call in a lot of situations. If America wasn't so big, it wouldn't be such a big problem.
Yeah, but it's the same in Australia. There's like no realistic way. When I was still working, there was no way I could walk to work. Yeah. It was like a 20-minute train ride. I wasn't going to walk it.
Yeah. I was actually pretty close to where I worked most of the time. My main job that I had the longest, I had 13 years. It was about 15-minute drive, no traffic. So it would be like an hour and a half walk. I could do it. But then when I retired and I took up a part-time job just to fuck around, that place was only a 9-minute walk from my house. Now, did I go for a walk? No, I still drove my car. It only took a minute to get there. It was just down the street.
I probably would have walked if it was that close.
Yeah.
I mean, I also don't have a car, so like that like even if I had a car, if it was like 10-minute walk, it's like I'll just walk it. I can't be bothered.
Yeah, I didn't unless it was bad weather. I didn't take my car. I took my motorcycle instead. So yeah, I never really. I walked it twice, but just to see how long it would take more than anything.
Yeah, because even like the train station is like half an hour walk from here. So like to get to work, I had to already walk for half an hour and then catch a like 20-minute train. So the idea of walking to work, it would take like 6-7 hours.
Oh, jeez.
Like there's no way I was ever going to be able to do it.
Wow.
Like it's 20 minutes by train. You got to think trains go pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, where I am now, there's not even a train station within a half an hour. There's a bus station, that's about 45 minutes. But you know, you'd have to drive for 45 minutes to get to the bus station. That's how far away it is. So it would be useless for me here. I was much closer to civilization where I used to live. So back when I was working, when I was a younger guy, but
no, I'm not taking a train to Melbourne. That would take like 9 hours, I guess, like an insane amount of time. It's 90 minutes by plane. I'm not doing it.
All three of us are in big countries.
Yes.
You know, so I mean, the only difference between America and Canada and Australia is population density. We have a lot more people, but you guys have basically the same amount. Australia's smaller, but Canada reaches, I think, if you go just side to side, I think Canada is actually wider than the States.
Yeah, we are. That's why. Because a little bit. It's partly that, and it's also a lot of the landmass that we have is pretty much ice.
But I mean, your East Coast is further east than our East Coast.
But in all honesty, the one difference that Canada really does have, and we have a decent year this year, but it really does have to do with the cold and the snow. Okay. Anything that changes your travel does that too. My neck of the woods isn't so bad. We have the wind chill. You might get some snow, but it's the wind chill. You go to like, say Ontario or Toronto or the Maritimes, they're the guys with the snow problems. Like they get a pileup of snow that like honestly would cripple any city. It wouldn't matter where you are if you had that kind of snow. Anything that goes up to the second story of a building is a problem.
I can see how that would be an impedance there.
I've seen videos of them like literally building tunnels between each other's houses for the fun of
that happens. That has happened here in Pennsylvania too. You open the door and it's just a sheet of snow from bottom to top. You want to leave? Get out the shovel because you're digging yourself out. You know, I just noticed something that I've never noticed before. I'm looking at my OBS screens for Rumble and YouTube. I keep them on the same monitor. My icons are facing different directions. This must be so on YouTube. The hat dangles off to the right. On Rumble, the hat dangles to the left.
That is true. I wasn't paying attention.
I guess I probably shouldn't talk about how I dangle. That's probably not appropriate words, but raising. It just caught my eye. I had to say something because I don't remember doing that on purpose. It is supposed to be to the left. This is like so sexual innuendo here. I'm supposed to be dangling to the left. So I don't know why that's that way. But anyway. So I mean, that's the whole thing with the recall with Tesla is it's not really a recall, but they're trying to find a way to make him a bad guy. So that's what all of the media is saying. Even right-wing media is saying they're calling it a recall. So I'm pretty disappointed about that.
Yeah.
The second thing that we have, Peachy. Again, me trying to come up with something clever at the last minute, not being able to. The GOP of the House in Congress has decided that they are formally going to start an inquiry into impeaching Biden.
Is that going to do anything?
Well, all this time up to this point, they've been considering an inquiry. Right. Now they've actually said, no, we're going to actually do an inquiry. Now, whether that inquiry leads to an actual impeachment hearing, because they have to do everything, one step at a time, baby steps.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw out my own opinion on this one, which is probably completely wrong, but this is my opinion anyway.
Okay.
I think they're doing it because despite the other debates, there's no moving Trump. His numbers are what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really know with those guys. I don't know if they kind of want a Trump or if they don't want a Trump because they absolutely are raging like they don't want a Trump. But I think they make money off of him too. So I don't know. But,
yeah, I could see it.
But because they keep trying to push Nikki Haley, they all talk like Like they act like they're trying to push Chris Christie. I'm like, he's never had a chance in hell, but he's good at buttering up other people apparently. And it's all Nikki Haley this, Nikki Haley that. And I'm like, I hate to break it to you. Without those two there, it's all Vivek. And even Vivek can't break Trump's numbers. Even he's probably like, yeah, I'm not going to beat it against this guy. But at the very least, he can say his piece, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
You know, applause.
Yeah. It is clear that Trump's going to win in a story. So it's really kind of irrelevant what these other people say. The leaders are DeSantis and Ramaswamy are the only two that are really have they're second and third place is what they are. For as much as everybody's trying to push Nikki Haley, the real numbers on her are pretty abysmal. There's things about her that everyone has identified as disqualifying things. First of all, for most of the men, she's a blazing feminist.
Yeah.
And that's going to get rid of. And for people who are more less social and more political minded, she's a neocon. She loves war. And those are going to stop her dead in her tracks. She really has no option for that because neither DeSantis or Ramaswamy had those.
I'm probably never going to be able to word this right because I don't know your politics well enough to do it. But
you don't?
Her time.
Everybody knows American politics.
Oh, I know, right? But her time in the UN had me questioning what she was doing. I can't remember what story it was from or who I got it from. But it's another one of those things where she felt like another Nancy Pelosi to me. So while being a warmonger, I'm really tired of employing these people who are willing to use your country or my country or Terry's country to grift money off of these wars.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just tired of it.
Yeah. I mean, I think the American people are tired of it too. They're tired of war.
Yeah.
And it's not even for us. There's no benefit to us. So why are we doing this?
we get the worst benefit of it all. We get blamed for all the problems on the planet because of it. That's what we get. And I'm tired of it. Like, I'm tired of being considered the mercenaries of the world. Shouldn't be the U.S. I know you guys are strong.
You're the world police. I saw a documentary by Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Yeah, I hate that about us, that we're world police. I really do. It's none of our business. I'm very much an isolationist when it comes to foreign policy. If it doesn't directly involve us, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically my position. I don't care about the war in Ukraine. I don't care about the war in Israel/Palestine. I'm not in either of those places.
America is struggling because of what we've done with Ukraine, sending them all that money.
Yeah.
Everything that I buy at the grocery store could have been 20% cheaper if we hadn't done that.
Agreed.
So, yeah, it's something I really hate about our country is that I understand that we're the largest democracy and our democracy is, I hate to use democracy because we're actually a republic, a constitutional republic, but the democracy we employ under the republic, and this is not against either one of you, but or the UK or any other Western country, but of all the countries that are Western and are quote unquote free, I think ours is the most because no other country supports guns like we do. No other country has a constitution like we do. These things kind of set us apart amongst Western countries.
Yeah,
you guys don't have the freedom to have guns. We had the freedom to have guns.
If America didn't have the Constitution, you'd be in just as much shit as Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe even worse. With all the social stuff that's going on, we might even be worse. Thank God for the Constitution. Jesus.
It's honestly not just that. It's also the volume of guns that you have when you have the gun enthusiasts.
Yeah,
like,
buddy.
You can really tell that people are kind of like, well, no, I don't think this is a good city to invade. Even in the U.S., you have that. It's kind of clear in places where, I'm sorry, there is a lot of gun crime in democratic cities. They can sit there and bitch about guns all the time, but it's clear that their guys have no problems with them. But it's not just guns. They just turn a blind eye to every other form of violence. Apparently, if you die by a gun, it's like, oh my God. But, never look into what the other guys do because apparently that's fine. But no, the fact that you have so many people that are trained too, like that's the other thing too. People make it out like it's just so easy to pew pew pew, and I'm like, no, that's actually a bit of a skill. There's a bit of a skill to it.
You miss all the time, especially with handguns. I don't know if you've heard this statistic before. I think I've mentioned on the show, but you often hear people on the Democratic side say, this is a uniquely American problem.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not. Mass shootings are not uniquely American. We are on the scale of, 243 countries on the planet, or I don't forget what that number is, but on that scale, we own the most guns per capita for our citizenry. However, on the mass shootings front, we're not in the top 10. We're number 14.
But also, most of that is like specific cities. Like
most of it is inner city crime.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, if you took like, I think it's Detroit is one of them, and then there's like
LA.
2 other cities.
LA.
So if you took those 3 cities out of the statistics, then the US drops to like 97 or whatever.
193.
Yeah.
If you take out LA, Seattle, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and I forget what the fifth one is. If you take out those 5, we go from 14 to 193.
Yeah.
Well, like they really like to focus on the things that you might have where, having a lot of guns, you might have to deal with the odd person who's a moron. But then you look at problems in other places. Like I'm going to pick on China. It's been a while since I've picked on China. They have a really high rate of child theft. It's almost like that one-child policy kind of bit them in the ass.
Yeah, it certainly did.
For a very long time, they, little towns, your little child stolen. They need them for a marriage partner for their kid. And if they can't get one, then they have to buy one. So, they'll steal your kid.
But the funny thing about that is, like, because boys were considered better than girls, they would abort the female babies because they were only allowed to have one, and they wanted to make damn sure it was a boy.
Yeah.
So they ended up with like a massive skew towards males in the population, which I don't know if you know how breeding works, but that's not a good thing.
Well, for as much as our social system has caused stress on procreation for America, and it's happened in your countries too. It's much worse in China and Japan. Japan, they have videos of girls staring into cameras that guys are supposed to watch to make guys more accustomed to looking at girls. That's how much of a separate, for as bad as we are, we're just not fucking as much as we used to, and we're not having babies as much as we, but we still interact. In Japan, it's so bad they don't even talk to each other anymore.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, outside of the internet, I barely interact with anyone. So.
Oh no, I mean, if I was still living out at the farm, then it might be more of a problem. But I have a girlfriend, so I still see a woman almost every day. But now that I'm living in what used to be my parents' house, I'm surrounded by neighbors, and they're all very curious about me for some reason. So if I'm outside, there are people, hey, how you doing, Hammer? Hey. Like, I don't know you, leave me alone. But I'd be cordial. I mean, as a matter of fact, it was cold the last 2 days, and apparently there was still water in the hose, and the hose was still turned on, although the end of the hose where the part is where you spray from was secure and water wasn't coming out. But when the water froze in the hose, it burst the hose. Now it was frozen. It was frozen, so no damage. But I wasn't aware of it. So when the temperature came back up, the patio got wet. My next door neighbor called me. Well, sent me a text message, and he said, "Your patio is wet." I was like, "Well, we did snow a couple days ago." He says, "Yeah, but that dried, and now your patio is wet." I was like, "Okay." So I walked out there, and a small leak had formed from the hose expanding and contracting. It kind of busted the hose up a little bit, and it was leaking water. So having a neighbor, keeping an eye on stuff, actually turned out to be a good thing. So
yeah,
humans, they're all right. I can.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still skeptical.
Sometimes. Sometimes.
There's maybe a couple of dozen that are okay, but most of them I'm not a fan.
I'm going to take a second here and set up the poll for the music for tonight.
This is a good plan.
I was just curious whether or not it would let me do that because I've never done that on my channel. For people who don't know, I've never broadcasted on my channel before. So when I put links in the description, it wouldn't make the links active. They're just text.
Yeah. You can't click on them.
So there's some weird things going on about how my channel is verified to YouTube. So doing things, everything I've done tonight, I've been like, hey, let's see if this works. So we'll see if the poll will work. It looks like it's going to work. But anyway.
Okay, well, that's good.
You guys can talk amongst yourselves while I do this.
And,
hi, Johnny.
Johnny Hellcat joining us in chat.
Yeah, I don't have anybody except for Minions host. I don't have anybody with moderator privileges. I need to look into that. And nobody's in blue except for Minions.
Yes, I think me, Adam. Who else is blue? Oh, Six is blue, and
Johnny technically should be, but
he should be.
Yeah, but he's not.
He's sneaky like that, though, you know. Hi, Johnny.
Mr. Adam is.
Yes. So me, Adam, and Six all are. I think Johnny probably should be if we're doing the Minions hosts as moderators.
Next 6 minutes is here. I didn't see him.
Yeah, he popped in.
Oh.
Yep. He says, "Hey Minions, hey chat," and then
immediately left.
He might just be lurking. I don't know.
Okay, I'm just playing around. All right, so here comes the poll. Let's see if this works.
It does work. I can see it. And,
sweet. Oh, that by the way, people who are watching the show on YouTube, how is the show performing? Is it nice and smooth, or is there issues? Is it freaky deaky?
It seems smooth from what I can tell, but yeah, I'll see what chat has to say.
Yeah, I'm interested to see people who are watching it in 4K, if it really is.
Cannibalistic says, and once again, Hammer refuses to allow Rumble to vote. Rumble is refusing to allow Rumble to vote. That's not Hammer.
Unfortunately.
They'll get there eventually.
It may be a good thing, because I think if Rumble decides that it's going to allow me to vote, that I might just run a Rumble show from now on.
Yeah. And he also says that if he remembers right, Americans own more guns privately than all the armies in the world combined, or at least the top countries.
That's what I mean. It's not just guns either. Like, I'm sorry, I've met the odd person who just happens to have enough engineering skills to figure out how to make weapons that they've made themselves. Like, I watched a guy make something with legit wood. They were like little cannonball firing wood pieces. Mm-hmm. I couldn't describe them to you and give it justice. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really sick of the gun people. Well, not the gun people who own guns, the gun people who are afraid of guns because they need to adventure outside of the gun world, because enough people with enough brains don't need guns. They don't need guns to destroy your country. The guns are just easy, and they know how to use them, and they're usually meant for hunting. But, you know, if the Chinese decide to invade, you have better guns. And you still have better guns.
Keith and Spittlebuggies both say that the poll is blank. It's fine at my end, so...
the poll is blank?
Other people have managed to vote, so I think they might need to refresh, but just thought I'd let you know that a couple of people at least have had problems with voting.
Well, I see. We got 8 votes, right?
Yeah. So some people are able to vote. I was able to, but Keith and Spittle have both said that the poll is blank for them.
Not doubting you. I'm just always weirded out when some people can and some people can't. I'm like, okay, what glitched?
Well, that's not me, if that's true. Because
yeah. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just letting you know that
it could be.
The refresh is a good idea, because that might fix it. It's just like glitches in the Matrix make me like, what?
Yeah, we got a tie, 4 and 4.
Yeah.
4 for Boston and 4 for Tom Petty. I try to vote, won't let me vote at all. I can see everything, but I try to click on something.
Maybe because you started the poll, you don't get to vote.
Probably. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Probably because it's my own channel. I think if I signed on,
you could vote as the minions if you logged into that account.
Yeah, I could sign on the minions, but I have like 8 different channels that I could sign on to.
Oh, there you go. You could.
I could really. I have a channel. me and Polly at one point. I thought at one point that he was a reasonable person, so we were going to get together and do like a little collab, and we set up a channel. It's really awful. The channel is called Polyhammerous.
Oh God.
It was so terrible. I was like, no, let's not collaborate after all. If we're going to come up with shit like that, we don't deserve to collaborate. So it never happened, but I still have access to the channel.
So KVDM sent me a screenshot of what's happening. It looks like it's just not loading properly. So I think that's like a problem at their end. It's just like, it's not fully loading the
so refreshing doesn't help?
She says she tried it and it didn't help.
Oh.
So I think maybe it's just an issue with their connections.
I mean, worst case scenario, we could always do it the old-fashioned way. Once upon a time, the AAA used to do polls by just getting Vipersword to read the chat. Was it always accurate? Maybe not, but you know.
I don't even know if I can. Let me see if I can sign on to onto another account here. I don't know if this will screw up the show or not, but let me see if I can sign
good point.
Another channel. I'll sign on as
yes. It would be funny that there's all of a sudden 8 extra votes and completely changes the winner. Like John Fogerty's on 0, but suddenly there's like 8 new accounts decide to vote and they all somehow vote for the same thing.
All right, so I open up another browser and I sign on as Minions. And there's our show.
It would be funny that there's all of a sudden 8 extra votes.
Let's see if I can vote. Yeah, I was able to vote. I was able to see it, and I was also able to vote too.
Okay, so Spittle says it lets you vote on the blank screen, like with none of the options are filled in. You can still pick one. You can still vote for it. You
thought you're voting for it. It's a random choice. Well, for those people who don't know, the options are Boss is More Than a Feeling is the first one. John Fogerty's Center Field is the second one. Tom Petty's American Girl is number 3. And then Aerosmith's Ragdoll is number 4.
That might be why, Keeve. I don't know that it is, but that might be why. All the same though, you could always type out what you want. It might not really work.
Looks like you've got it working. She says, "Oh, there it goes."
Oh, yay! Good. Good. So, yeah. I wasn't really sure what I was going to say. I was either going to ask something totally Christmassy or something totally Christmassy because my brain went to both. But who here hasn't really started their Christmas shopping yet?
Oh, no, I finished my Christmas shopping. I have one present, and that's it. Because my family has decided to do... It's kind of like a Secret Santa, except you don't buy for a specific person. You just put them all under the tree, and then you just grab a random present that you don't know who sent it to you. So yeah, I have to buy one present, which I have. I'll head down to Melbourne tomorrow, and someone will be getting a box of chocolates.
That is so easy.
Yeah,
sneaky. I mean, I don't have a lot of people to buy for. It's just my parents. They don't need anything. You know, it is kind of one of those things. They have everything they need. And everything that they're kind of into, it's kind of specific. You know, people with hobbies don't really want you buying their shit for them. They'd rather go buy their own because they know what they need.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, I would 100% rather that my mother give me a Steam voucher than buy a game on Steam for me.
Yeah.
Like, no. No, mother, do not do this.
So yeah, they're just kind of like that. Like last year, I got lucky because it was just one of those things where I saw it and I was like, you know what, this screams with my dad. Like it's not like really important, it's not really expensive, but it was this little boating tool kit. It had like 11 little tools, and it was just this little ring belt knife. And as an engineer, he took one look at it. It was like I could tell he was having a great time with it because it's a puzzle too. But like that's a once in a while chance. And he's lost. He doesn't taste things anymore. I used to cheat with good whiskey or good scotch. He can't taste anything anymore.
Ooh,
So
that's
like,
that sucks.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So yeah, I'm like, you know, because there's no point in spending money on something you can't taste. That has been something he's kind of been like, yeah, there's no point in spending any dollars on that. There's no point in that. Just, I can't taste it.
Like if I had no sense of taste, it would not make any sense taking me out to a fancy restaurant as a treat. It's like, like why? It's just like if I was blind, it wouldn't make a lot of sense to take me to an art gallery.
Yeah, so he's a little bit difficult. I mean, I can make up for it. Like he likes scratch tickets. You know, he likes, you know, there's a good, you know, a gift card for maybe a bookstore or something. I don't know. He's into fishing too, but fishing's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But I could get him a gift card for that too. But yeah. Yeah. Mom's easy. I could get her chocolates too. She'd still give me shit for it though. She's like, you're making me fat.
Yeah. There you go. Getting bathroom scales. Perfect present.
My brother and I never really did the whole Christmassy thing. It was always the parents, you know.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, even up to how old as I am now, I mean, my mom passed a year ago. She's still buying me stuff for Christmas. And I'm, you know, 60 years old and she's still doing it. I mean, me and my brother never did. My sister is like black sheep. I haven't seen her in years, so that's never going to happen. So I don't really do any of that kind of stuff. The only person that I ever buy presents for as far as holidays is my girlfriend.
Yeah, because like the whole reason our family started doing the buy one present and then just like put it under the tree thing is because all you were doing was exchanging $20 gift cards. Like, I'd say, you know, here's a $20 gift card for iTunes, and they say, oh, thank you. Here's a $20 gift card for Steam. It's like, thank you. I mean, what have we accomplished with this exchange?
Yeah, all we've managed to do is spend $20 on ourselves.
Yeah. So we just said, look, there's no point doing it this way. Let's just buy one present for like everyone and just chuck it under the tree, and whoever gets it gets it.
Yeah. We don't even have a tree this year. We used to have a tree, and it was we wouldn't actually take it down and store it for the summer. We would put it on the back patio, and then when Christmas came around, we move it to the front window.
Okay.
You know, kind of deal, and just keep it. But it fell over in the back patio, and the back patio's kind of got some storage, and something fell on top of it and bent the hell out of it. So I just got rid of it. So no tree this year, but all the Christmas lights are all up. So I was able to do that before it got too cold out.
I don't have a Christmas tree here. There's one down in Melbourne where my mum and stepdad live, because that's where we're all doing the Christmas.
The family, the family thing.
But here in Sydney, I don't even own a Christmas tree.
See, I don't even know what I did have a tree. I'm just not sure where it is. It's either in my end of the apartment or it's in we have extra space in this complex for things. I can't remember if we moved it out because that had a little bit of a flood. And if it did have a little bit of a flood, there's a good chance my Christmas tree's a little dirty.
I'm supposed to go out this weekend with my girlfriend and get a tree. Not a real one, but a new fake tree.
Right.
She's got plans. That's every guy says that at some point, especially when the weekend's coming up. Every guy will say he's got plans. So yeah, so we'll probably be doing that. So
well, the nice thing is you can get fairly decent looking ones nowadays that are cheap. They're not as expensive as they used to be. So if you lose one, it's not as big a deal.
The tree we had was a really old tree, and it looked fine, all that kind of stuff. But the materials that they used back then it's worse than having a tree. You go to reach and touch something, and you would literally get stabbed like it was made out of needles or something. I mean, like real medical needles. You would get stabbed and you draw blood. I was never particularly fond of that tree. So, but yeah, you go and get one that's nice and soft and not huge. The one I had was like almost 7 feet. It was huge. So,
yeah, a 7-foot tree would probably be very difficult to fit into my unit. I don't think there would be anywhere to put it. I don't think you'd even get it in the door.
Wow. Well, I mean, I have a regular house, an American house, and the ceiling's 8 foot. So, but I mean, if you put the tree up, then you have to put a star on top. It's like you had like an inch before you hit the top of the ceiling. So it's like, yeah.
But yeah, I don't necessarily mean the height. I just mean something that tall is also going to be wide, and
yeah, it was pretty wide.
It's going to be like, that's what I mean. It's not going to fit through the door. The door you can fit like a 7-foot thing through the door, but it's probably going to be too wide.
You have to take the tree in butt first. You can't go top first because it'll just rip all the limbs off.
Yeah.
So, but
see, and then there's me sitting here like a little troll thinking about Terry being in Australia, and I'm like, don't you know you guys decorate palm trees?
Yeah.
Oh God, the dumb shit they used to tell me about what you guys used to do for Christmas. Gosh.
I don't know anything about it.
They don't do anything that crazy. I mean,
it's mostly stereotypes that kids make up, like things to do with kangaroos and wallabies.
The only really big difference is that it's summer, not winter for us. So it's like, it will never be a white Christmas. Like that doesn't exist in Australia because it's the middle of summer. It's
not without trashing the place. No,
it's 35 degrees Celsius, so it's not going to snow.
I mean, the closest thing you would have is a lawn covered in slush, like slush iced.
Yeah, I've never seen snow except when I went to the mountains. Like as a kid, we went skiing. You can go to like mountain ranges where there's snow, but like in day-to-day life, I've never once seen snow in Australia.
I mean, that would be such a mega dare to do to your kids. I mean, it would be evil as hell, but like, you know, hang the carrot on the face of a koala, you know?
Yeah.
So even in the dead of your winter, which would be, I guess, our summer, there's nowhere in Australia that has snow?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, the mountains, it'll snow.
Okay.
But I'm saying like in day-to-day life, like me just going about my business, you know.
Yeah.
When I was working, like just going from here to work and back and like going to the shops, I've never seen snow.
Wow.
It's only been when I've explicitly gone to the mountains to ski, there I've seen snow. And when I went to Europe, I saw snow. But in Australia, unless it's specifically going to the mountains to see it, I've never seen snow.
Wow. We got a dusting 3 days ago before the hose burst. And I put a picture out on Twitter and I said, my lawn looks like a Pop-Tart, which I got a reply back from Poppy with a question mark. Like, no, not you, not the lucky Pop-Tart, but I mean an actual Pop-Tart, you know, from Kellogg or whoever makes it, kind of deal. But it did. It looked like a strawberry Pop-Tart. It was not completely covered. There were some areas that were kind of thin, but it was mostly covered. So it was just like, I was like, these look like the same thing. Anyway.
I'm still picturing it with sprinkles for some reason.
Yeah, I guess you could.
I mean, that's a different way to TP somebody's house, but you could do it that way too, I'm sure.
This may sound silly, kind of off track, but do you like Pop-Tarts? Do you eat Pop-Tarts? Do you have a favorite?
I do, but I am a little...
Tell us.
I'm not a big fan of doing them raw anymore.
Tell us.
Oh, I don't do them all the time. I don't like Pop-Tarts, not all the time. No, like
what's your favorite?
It's one of those, it's been a while. I definitely have a chocolate fan, so anything chocolate I'm usually happy with. But the strawberry is actually one of my favorites. Just the traditional strawberry, yeah. I used to eat them cold on occasion. Nowadays, I'm like, no.
Harry, do we even have Pop-Tarts in Australia?
I mean, yeah, I've had them like when I was a little kid, but like not in a very long time. So I don't even know what flavors are available except for apparently chocolate and strawberry. But I don't have a favorite because I haven't eaten them in like 30 years.
Well, I have Pop-Tarts in my kitchen, and my favorite is brown sugar cinnamon.
Okay, yeah.
And if they're not available, my backup is cherry, frosted cherry.
So what was the one you liked? Brown something?
Brown sugar cinnamon.
Oh, cinnamon. Okay, yeah. That's what.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, those are my two favorites.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with going with simple flavors. Like I've actually been redoing that as hitting my 40s. Kind of did that. Re-explore the flavors I used to think were boring. I'm like, that's actually kind of nice.
They have some that are good, that are a little unusual. Like they have blueberry, frosted blueberry. Yeah, it's pretty good. But they have some
blueberries.
They have some weird ones. Like they have sour apple. It's like I don't know if I would like that. So
no, see they I don't know if they actually had this or if this is just or if I'm thinking of the strudel pastry, because like they have one too.
Strudel.
But I can't remember if they had an apple cinnamon one. But apple cinnamon's usually the way to go if you're gonna do apple. Sour apple's okay if you like your kid or and you like the candy. I don't mind the odd candy.
Okay.
But as a pastry, no.
And Cynic is saying that Woolworths, which is like our local supermarket, has 4 flavors of Pop-Tarts. So not a lot, not a lot of variety there.
The Pop-Tarts, wow, they have a lot of fucking flavors. So the ones that we've all known for a long period of time that they have a whole bunch of new ones that they just came out with. Frosted blueberry, frosted brown sugar cinnamon, the one I like, frosted cherry, frosted chocolate chip,
frosted glass,
frosted chocolate fudge, frosted confetti cupcake, frosted cookies and cream. These are like, they've had them out forever. Frosted grape, which I've never even seen before. Frosted hot fudge sundae. Frosted pumpkin pie. Frosted raspberry, which I've actually had frosted raspberry. Frosted s'mores, which I've seen, but I don't like s'mores. Frosted strawberry. Frosted wildlicious wild berry. And frosted harvest strawberry, which is like an organic version. But they have new ones that just came out apparently just a couple of months ago. Snickerdoodle Pop-Tarts.
What's a Snickerdoodle?
I have no idea. It's just what the box says. And they have a couple of unfrosted ones, but the new ones are Apple Jacks, frosted apple cinnamon flavor.
So if you had frosted Apple Jacks, that would be like half the corner represented.
Yeah. Frosted and Jack. And then they have, I would actually probably like to try this frosted banana bread.
Okay.
That sounds good. And then frosted sugar cookie printed fun Pop-Tarts. I don't even know what that means.
And so frosted Vegemite Pop-Tart.
I know what sugar cookies are. And this is frosted sugar cookies.
I would 100% try the frosted Vegemite, Cynic.
I can't quite remember what was in a Snickerdoodle, Keeperdam. I know that they're a cookie, though, basically.
Let me see if I can click on it and see if it gives me savor the mouthwatering flavor of Snickerdoodle Pop-Tarts, topped with crunchy cinnamon sugar and filled with vanilla, butter, and cinnamon flavors.
Huh. And over on Rumble, I have been neglecting it. Cannibalistic Wizard says, "Ooh, frosted grape, I want it. No, I need it." And he says, "Be a man, Hammer. Grow a few Christmas trees each year so you can cut down your own."
To be honest with you, if you look around my parents' house, behind the house, the tree line, it's obviously much taller. I could never fit them in my house. They're like 15, 18 feet tall. It's all pine trees back there. If I would have gotten to them sooner, it would have been all right. But at this point, I couldn't fit them. I'd have to top the trees off and do it that way if I wanted to. They're pretty full. They're Boston fir. So it's a pretty full tree. I could probably do it, but I'd end up with half trees left over. Probably wouldn't look very good on the lawn.
Johnny Hellcat says, "Frosted sugar cookie are a diabetic kind worst nightmare."
Yeah, well, they all are. The struggle for me is I can only eat half of one. They come in twos in a foil container, so you get two of them for every packet. And I can only eat about half of one at a time because guess what they're made out of? Wheat.
Yep.
And I can't handle wheat. So if I were to have one, I have to take one out of the packet of two, break it in half, and that's what I can have. And then like the next day I could have the other half. I can't have even a full one, let alone two, or I'm in trouble.
I have similar problems, but I've been using them as a means to tease my UK friends, because I don't doubt you get them too, because you're colony too, Terry. But they're called the Walker's cookies. They were endorsed by the Queen. I always joke about that because I'm waiting for Charles to just endorse them. Okay, just endorse them so they can move on in life. But they jack the price of that brand. Like everything related to that brand is just insane. So what we used to get from them were boxes of about 150 grams. They're just finger cookies. They're a butter cookie. You know, it's flour and sugar. That's it.
And butter.
Yeah. So two boxes of 150 grams were $10.
Wow.
They did drop them to $8 though. They were like, "Oh, we'll save you $2 on those boxes of cookies." And I was like,
they're on sale. Wow.
I mean, yeah, even the Christmas ones are now cheaper because they were like, "Okay, we're not going to make any money for Christmas if we keep doing this." I'm like, no kidding.
There's some weird prices though, because I saw a lady complaining. She had a video out of her holding a quarter of a watermelon, and it was marked as $16 for a quarter.
Yeah.
Now I can buy a full-sized full watermelon for $9. Why was it priced at $16 for just a quarter of one? That's weird.
Well, it was like that for a lot of things. Like I joked a while ago about the jam, and TC told me no, it was TC and Batman told me I should throw the jar at the shopkeeper. I'm like, I am technically the one stocking, so that makes me the shopkeeper, but okay. But our jam was like $10 for 500 milliliter Smucker's brand, which I don't know if you guys have. I think
we have Smucker's. Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like, it's okay. It's a good jam, but it's not. Yeah. It's not worth $10. It's not worth $10. And then we were getting like actually a really decent jam from France, and they knocked theirs down like $2-3. I'm like, is France taking pity on us? But yeah, it's been like that. You're not wrong.
I have noticed that the jams and jellies are more expensive, significantly more expensive than they used to be. I wonder if it's because they're fruit based, so the fruit costs more, or I don't know why they were particularly more expensive. Than everything has gone up, of course, but it seems like the jams and jellies have gone up even more than you would expect. Because like Welch's grape jelly, which is pretty much a staple here at my house.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. I don't even look at it anymore. I don't even go into this section because the all the breads and all the jams and jellies are all in one section in the grocery store.
Yeah,
I just walk right past because I can't eat most of the bread, so there's really no reason. And then without bread, what do you really need jelly for? Kind of deal.
Pretty much, yeah.
So the only thing I ever really use it for now is like I'll use either strawberry or grape jelly on whatchamacallits, Thomas's English muffins. They don't seem to bother me as much as regular bread does. So I can have one of those every couple of days and be all right. So really the big thing Smucker's does here is they do ice cream toppings.
Yeah, yep.
If you go in the ice cream section, there's all these things of Smucker's there because it's like butterscotch and caramel and all chocolate and all this big, huge display of Smucker's stuff there. So, and it goes pretty quick because you'll go in one day and you can go back like 3 days later and it's all new stuff in different locations in that area because everybody bought the other stuff already. So
the Americans do like their ice cream. I don't judge you for it because ice cream be good.
But I'm pretty generic though because I like Breyer's vanilla, and that's all. I don't buy anything else.
I don't dislike Breyer's, but I do side eye them for their frozen dessert shit that they pulled.
Well, they have two. They have Breyer's frozen dairy treats, but they still have Breyer's all natural vanilla ice cream too. Yeah. So the only difference really is what they put into it, because even the original Breyer's is not the Breyer's of today because they've added guar gum. It's still sugar water, sugar milk, and what's the third ingredient? Vanilla bean. I think is the three things that they put in the thing. But now they've added guar gum, so they added one extra ingredient. So it's different than it used to be. But guar gum is just a mild preservative, and keeps the ice cream from getting so rock hard that you can't scoop it. That's all it really does. And it's perfectly fine to eat it. It has no negative benefits. So I don't really care that they added that because it's still all natural.
I think the thing is it's more of the preservation of foods. Like, I don't disagree with that because that's not new to humanity. I just kind of do with some things because when you've had a chance to have it just fresh, like just fresh ice cream without all of it, yeah, you're getting a treat. But that's the thing with that kind of maintenance. That's why it's a treat. I'm also eerie around the soft serve machines, and that's mostly just because I understand that some people don't maintain shit, and when they don't maintain
and you'll get bacteria and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it's not like, yeah, I'm all for the ice cream machines. I just don't trust people.
Guar gums is a mild preservative. It's not like ascorbic acid or anything that's going to work to keep something good for 4 months. It's just a very mild one. Its main reason for being is it keeps the ice cream from getting so hard that you can't scoop it. It keeps it,
Which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's people who honestly could use
a softener. It's just a softener. That's all it is.
Like there are some people who forget their ice cream. Like, grandma who uses it for dessert one time might forget that she has it, but still wants to have some ice cream. Yeah, it's nice that, like a month or two later, she can still have a decent ice cream scoop.
Yeah.
It's like chocolate. I've started to judge chocolate more because I now see how it works on the other side when I'm stocking it. The packaging, that kind of stuff. Do I still buy over-the-counter chocolate? Yeah, of course I do. I can't afford to go to some fancy place that refrigerates their freaking chocolate. I can't afford that crap, but that's why it's a treat to go there. I still acknowledge it's better chocolate. It is. But I still like a chocolate bar. I only resent Hershey's because it's the one chocolate that nobody up here knows is Hershey's.
They actually have it around here in Pennsylvania because this is where Hershey's is. Hershey's is in Pennsylvania. So they actually have Hershey's shops in malls and stuff. You can actually walk in and it's a Hershey's establishment.
Yeah, I remember watching a documentary when they were talking about the, Hershey, the guy who, I don't know that his actual name was Hershey, but the guy who started the company and his town and all the stuff that he tried to do. And yeah, he's got a long history. I don't judge them for that. I do judge them for the he-she shit because it was stupid.
Yeah. Well, Pennsylvania is a blue state. Yeah. The guy you're thinking of is Milton S. Hershey. That's the actual guy. Very stoic, very business kind of guy. Considered it's actually category. He was a chocolatier. That's what his title was. But multi-billion-dollar company.
Well, I mean, he was a businessman from the get-go. Like, I mean, he did a lot of things before he even got into the chocolate, But yeah, I think it's like the current day where if you were a successful businessman, yeah, they just trash talk you.
Yeah.
I don't doubt he was hard to work with. Men who are successful like that, are beasts.
Yeah. But he was definitely the Disney of the chocolate world, at least in the United States.
Yeah, but my understanding is he left a hell of a lot, like not just to his town, but like I guess to like orphanages and like a lot of those guys do that, you know?
Well, before we get out of here, because it's 7 after, I'll just want to mention what the final category was, no whites.
Oh, yes.
There is a Boston mayor, her name is Michelle Wu, nothing to do with Brianna Wu, who's scheduled and is holding a celebration for the mayor's staff. She sent out an email. I think it was like 10 or 12 people. The celebration is only for people that are not white.
Perfect.
Yeah. So kind of getting blasted right now in the media for racism. Just straight up racism. So
I actually kind of hope that some jackass sues her for it.
Hopefully.
You know, like even if they kind of are woke a little bit, if just the fact that, like, you know, she discriminated against us, that kind of is against the Constitution. Just the greed alone, maybe just to smack her a little.
So she apologized for this, but you know what her apology was? White
fragility?
No, her apology was, "I'm sorry, that email was not supposed to go out to white people."
Yeah.
That's her apology. In other words, not only are we racist, but sending it out to you, letting you know. You weren't even supposed to know. We were hiding it from you. Oh, Lord. I like I said before on Rumble, the pre-show, we really do need to hold an official mayoral white-only, no blacks allowed version of that same celebration. That would be awesome. I'd love to see the violence that would ensue if somebody tried to do that.
Yeah.
So we're running late. Do you guys have anything else, or do you want to get out of here?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well then we should probably get out of here then. The winner of tonight music is Tom Petty's American Girl, by the way.
Oh.
So I was hoping for Aerosmith, but that's okay. It's all good.
John Fogerty got 0 votes.
Yeah, dude. That's terrible. I like that song. Anyway, thanks, fam, as always, for chatting with us tonight. If you can't wait for the next Wednesday show, remember the Minions are live every evening, including weekends, with most shows starting 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Friday will be our first show back on the Minions channel. Host times and are linked in the description below, but you can't click on them. Don't forget about the Rumble pre-show. That stream generally starts about half an hour before YouTube. We'll be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual on the Minions channel. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll see you again next week. Have a great night, everybody.
I want to give a quick shout out just because I got a notification for it, but just in case any of y'all didn't, Satsu is streaming Arc. He just started 2 minutes ago. So, have a good night, everybody.
He was waiting for us to finish. It was very nice of him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I keep telling myself that. See you guys next week.
Have a good one, guys.